Did you really just interrupt me? The question slices through the glass-walled boardroom like a blade dipped in arrogance. You can hear the faint hum of the projector behind him. The CEO, Charles Reddington, mid-presentation in his immaculate gray suit, silver cufflinks gleaming under the LED light. Around the long mahogany table, a dozen executives shift uncomfortably. You stand at the far end. Maya Cole, 23, black, invisible, holding a notepad you'll never use because no one ever asks you to. Charles turns toward you, that polished grin spreading, the kind that looks like charm but feels like mockery. What was that, Maya? You've got a better idea for our security breach issue? You wish your pulse weren't so loud. You hadn't meant to speak aloud, just murmured something when you noticed a data flag flicker on the screen. But now every face in the room is on you. I just thought, he raises a hand, stopping you mid-sentence. Hold on, gentlemen, he says, turning theatrically toward the executives. Let's hear from our intern. Maybe she's cracked what our senior engineers couldn't. Laughter ripples. Not cruel at first, just the polite kind that hides cruelty beneath corporate manners. But when he leans back and folds his arms, it turns sharp. Please, he adds, enlighten us. You swallow. The internal firewall timestamps look off, you manage. If someone accessed files during that blackout, the logs wouldn't match. It might not be an external breach. It could be internal mislabeling. For half a heartbeat, silence. Then the CFO chuckles. Cute theory. But we pay people 6 figures to make those calls. Another adds, stick to the coffee run, sweetheart. Charles smirks, clicking to the next slide. That'll be all, Ms. Cole. Maybe next time you can tell us how to run payroll, too. The laughter this time is open. Your cheeks burn. You force your jaw to stay still. He moves on, but you can't look away from the screen. The file path flashing in the corner, sysarchive LJAUD1MP3, lingers for 2 seconds before disappearing. An MP3 file buried in the security logs? You blink, frowning. ELJ, like Elijah. But you shake it off. The world is cruel, not cosmic. When the meeting ends, the interns scatter. You're the last one to leave. The boardroom smells faintly of coffee and printer ink, the projector's fan still cooling down. On the table, Charles's untouched espresso sits beside a gold pen engraved Reddington Industries. You glance at the frozen final frame on the monitor. That file tag again, briefly visible in the lower corner before it vanishes into corporate oblivion. You whisper under your breath, ELJ. You remember Elijah's voice in fragments, how he used to tap his pencil against the desk when deep in thought. How he said this company was the future of ethical tech. That was before he vanished after his second interview here. Police said he probably left town, but you'd never believed that. Charles exits last, phone glued to his ear, the scent of his cologne, expensive, cold, trailing behind. He doesn't see you watching. He doesn't hear the soft whir of the monitor rebooting itself. A flicker. A line of text reappears. Swiss archive ELJAUD1.MP3. Restricted access, your heart skips. For a second, you think of calling IT, but then you remember the laughter, the smirks, the way Charles's eyes gleamed like someone used to winning. Instead, you slip your ID card through the reader just to see. Access denied. Figures. You pack your notebook and walk out through the lobby, marble floors reflecting the soft glow of screens. Everyone here moves fast, confident, like their paychecks protect them from gravity. You move differently, careful, quiet, deliberate. You don't belong, not yet, but you notice things. As you pass reception, a janitor hums softly, mopping in rhythm. You almost envy his peace. Then you realize he's humming an old tune Elijah used to play on his keyboard at home. Something about the note stops you. The same uneasy chill runs through your chest. Hey, you whisper, approaching. Where'd you learn that song? He shrugs. Heard it once. From some guy used to work here. Nice fella. Didn't last long, though. Do you remember his name? The janitor frowns, thinking. Eli something. Yeah, Eli. He was smart. Too smart. You freeze. The elevator dings behind you. Charles steps in, still on the phone, laughing about quarterly numbers. His reflection meets yours in the mirrored doors, predator and prey divided by timing. You look away first, As the doors close, you whisper to yourself, "Too smart for who?" You walk toward your cubicle, fingers trembling as you log into the internal network. The company portal glows cold blue against your face. You search the file name again? Nothing. Gone. Deleted. Except the trace log remains. Modified yesterday. By Charles Reddington himself. Your pulse steadies, turning into something colder. Focused. Everyone in that boardroom thought they humiliated a quiet intern today. They have no idea they might have just woken someone who refuses to stay silent. You close your laptop. Outside, thunder rolls, distant but inevitable. The next morning, the office feels different, quieter, like the walls are keeping secrets. You can still hear the echo of last night's thunder as you step out of the elevator, clutching your coffee like a shield. Everyone's pretending nothing happened in the boardroom yesterday. But you can feel it. The side glances, the smirks, the polite avoidance. You know how corporate shame works. It isn't loud. It's sterile, efficient, wrapped in HR smiles. "Morning, sunshine," says Kelly, the head assistant. "All teeth and perfume." Charles said to make sure your ID still works. You blink. "Why wouldn't it?" She shrugs, tapping her manicured nails against the desk. "You know how it is? System maintenance. Try not to access anything. Advance this time." Her tone drips with sugary sarcasm. The kind that's worse than hostility. You force a polite smile. "Don't worry. I'll stick to fetching coffee." The jab lands. You see it flicker across her expression. She wasn't expecting you to bite back. When you reach your workstation, the monitor's already on. That's odd. 8 must have done an update overnight, you think. But then you see something strange on your screen. A line of text in gray italics. Sysarchive elg odd1.mp3. Move to secure folder. You freeze. You didn't type that, and no one else should even know that Philname exists. You glance around. No one's watching. The interns nearby are gossiping about weekend plans. But the air feels charged, like the office itself is holding its breath. You open the system directory. The file's there, hidden deep in a restricted drive. It's mislabeled now, Training Audio 2021. Your fingers hover over the mouse. Every instinct says don't click. Then you hear it, just barely, under your headphones, a faint digital crackle. Click, static fills your ears. Then a pause. And then testing. Is this on? Your blood runs cold. That voice. It's Elijah's. He sounds older, tired. "If you're hearing this, something went wrong." I don't know who's left in this project, but the sound cuts abruptly. Then picks up again, mid-sentence. "Reddington wants this buried. He says the cost of recall would bankrupt the company. But people could die if we—" You snatch off your headphones, trembling. You replay it just to be sure, and this time you catch something else. The faint echo of a second voice in the background. A man's voice. Deep, calm, laughing. Charles. You clamp your mouth shut to keep from gasping aloud. You shouldn't have heard this. The file shouldn't even exist. Elijah's voice, your brother's, shouldn't be whispering through corporate servers 2 years after he disappeared. A shadow passes your desk. Charles himself, walking by, flanked by 2 executives. You quickly minimize the window. He doesn't look at you, but you swear his eyes flick toward your monitor for just a second too long. You force yourself to breathe normally. He keeps walking. When he's gone, you whisper, "What did you find, Elijah?" That night after everyone leaves, you stay. The office is ghostly after hours. The air conditioner humming like a low drone, the city lights flickering through the blinds. You sip cold coffee and scroll through the metadata of the audio file. There's an embedded tag, uploader, ER Cole. Location, data server, 4A. Reddington HQ basement, last modified 10/11, by user, Creddington. You lean back, heart pounding. The last modification was 2 days ago. Elijah's account, your brother's, was used again recently, by Charles Reddington himself. You save the metadata to a flash drive, slipping it into your bag just as you hear footsteps behind you. Working late? It's Marcus, the young cybersecurity analyst who joined last quarter. Sharp suit, nervous smile. You've barely spoken to him, just catching up, you say, minimizing your windows. He nods, but his eyes linger on your screen. You might want to be careful with the server drives. Reddington's been cracking down on permissions after yesterday. "I heard," you reply casually. He hesitates, then adds in a lower tone. "Look, you didn't hear this from me, but someone's been messing with archived employee files. Names of ex-staffers just gone. Gone how? Wiped clean. Like they never existed." You stare at him, pulse quickening. He offers a crooked smile. "Weird world, huh? Just don't stay too late." When he leaves, the silence feels heavier. You stare at your reflection in the blackened monitor, your own eyes looking back, lit by the blue glow of secrets. You pull out your phone and replay Elijah's voice again, whispering with static distortion. "Reddington wants this buried." You whisper back, "Not anymore." Then, something catches your attention. On the corner of the screen, a blinking system alert, "Unauthorized access detected." User, McCole, Intern. Your stomach drops. You grab your bag, eject the flash drive, and power down the system. But as you swipe your ID at the elevator, the red light flashes. "Access denied." You stand frozen. The cameras above you blink red. You can almost feel them watching. A message pops up on your workstation monitor across the room. You can barely read it from here, but the text glows unmistakably. "Stay in your lane, Maya." The cursor blinks once, then vanishes. You take one step back, heart racing. The building suddenly feels colder. Outside, rain lashes against the windows. Somewhere in the distance, thunder rolls again, but softer this time, like a warning whispered under its breath. You don't sleep that night. The message, "Stay in your lane, Maya," replays in your mind like a threat stitched into silence. You pace your apartment, eyes darting to the window every few minutes, convinced some unseen watcher lingers beyond the rain. By morning, you've decided two things. 1, you're not paranoid. 2, if they wanted you scared, it worked. But fear is just fuel now. You get to work early long before anyone else. The city's still half asleep outside, streaks of sunrise reflecting on glass towers. Inside, the office smells of stale coffee and ambition. You move quietly, every motion deliberate. Your workstation's clean, too clean. The flash drive you left in your drawer is gone. You check the security camera in the corner of the ceiling. Its red light blinks steadily like a heartbeat. Someone's always watching. You log in. The system greets you with a sterile message. "Welcome, temporary user. Access level restricted. They've downgraded you." You glance around the cubicle farm. Empty now, except for the hum of servers in the distance. Then you see it. A backup drive icon glowing faintly on the screen. Hidden in plain sight. You click inside a folder named Training Audio 2021, and beneath it, one subfile. The same MP3, you slip your earbuds in. The voice returns. "Elijah. Testing 1, 2. If this is recording, it means the patch failed." His tone is strained, lower than you remember. He pauses like he's listening for footsteps. "The firmware's corrupting critical functions. They'll try to blame user error, but it's systemic. People are at risk, and Reddington knows it. He told me, we fix it quietly or it never happened." A click. Then his breath, shallow, anxious. "If I disappear, tell Maya. Static." You rip out your earbuds, trembling. He'd said your name. He knew. Then another sound. Not from your headset, from the hallway behind you. A low creak. You glance over your shoulder. Nothing. You stand, scanning the corridor. The motion sensors flick on, flooding everything in white light. A cleaning cart sits abandoned near the elevator. You take a step closer and notice a single white envelope resting on top of the cart, your name printed neatly across the front. Your pulse kicks up. You open it carefully. Inside, a single key card and a note written in hurried handwriting. "Server room B40 p.m. Trust no one." You stare at it, heart hammering. The clock on the wall reads 8:46 a.m. You have 7 hours to decide if you're insane, enough to follow a breadcrumb that could destroy your career or save your brother's. Memory. You pocket the card. At lunch, the office buzzes with gossip. Reddington's supposed to appear on CNBC later to discuss the company's next phase in AI safety. You almost laugh. The irony stings. You bump into Marcus near the coffee machine. He's wearing the same nervous smile as before. "Rough night?" he asks. You shrug. "Do you believe in coincidences, Marcus?" He chuckles. Not in this place. You study him for a moment. What do you know about server room B? He freezes mid-sip. Why? Just curious. He sets down his cup, lowers his voice. That room's been locked for months. Only Reddington and IT Director Holland have clearance. Why are you asking? You hesitate, then deflect. I like to know where the skeletons are buried. Marcus gives you a long look, then mutters, then bring a shovel. As the day drags on, tension knots your shoulders. You can't focus! Every clock tick feels louder. Reddington strolls past your desk twice, his smile too casual. Once you think he pauses, just slightly, by your cubicle, as if sniffing for guilt. You keep your eyes on your keyboard until he's gone. At 3:58 p.m., you slip away. The elevator hums as it descends, every floor number glowing like a countdown. When the doors open, the basement is dim, humming with the steady pulse of cooling fans. The air is metallic, cold. You swipe the mystery keycard. The door light flicks green. Inside, rows of servers glow like monoliths, blinking in perfect rhythm. The sound is hypnotic, 1,000 electronic heartbeats in unison. You follow the labeled aisles until you reach server B14, the one listed in Elijah's metadata. You kneel, hands trembling as you pry open the side panel. Inside, a tangle of cables, humming drives, and, taped to the inside wall, a small voice recorder. You pull it free, press play. Elijah's voice again, clearer this time. Reddington found out I copied the crash logs. He said if I value my future, I'll delete them. But he doesn't understand. This isn't about my job. People died in those test accidents. I can't. A crash in the background, shouting. The audio cuts abruptly. You stand frozen. Then another voice. Not from the recorder, but from behind you. Smooth, controlled, unmistakable. Curiosity's a dangerous thing, Ms. Cole. You turn slowly. Charles Reddington stands in the doorway, hands in his pockets, expression unreadable. The keycard slot glows red again. He's locked the door from the outside. He steps forward, voice calm but venomous. You're talented, Maya, but you're in way over your head. That file? It's ancient history. You start poking around, you'll ruin more than your internship. You grip the recorder tightly. What did you do to Elijah? He sighs, almost amused. Family loyalty. Admirable, but misplaced. Your brother made choices he couldn't live with. The phrasing sends a chill down your spine. Made choices he couldn't live with. You think you're the first intern who tried to play detective? He continues, stepping closer. Delete the file. Forget the name. Or I'll make sure you vanish just as quietly as he did. You meet his gaze, and for the first time, he looks away first. He leaves, door closing behind him. The hum of servers swallows the silence. You stare at the recorder in your hand, Elijah's unfinished sentence looping in your mind. Tell Maya. Whatever comes next is buried in those drives. And now you know where to dig. You walk home in the rain, your mind spinning with fragments of sound. Elijah's voice, Reddington's threat, the static that seemed to whisper between them. The city's reflections blur under your umbrella, neon bleeding into puddles like smeared confessions. By the time you reach your apartment, you're shivering, not from the cold, but from what you've just realized. Elijah's final words weren't lost. They were cut, deliberately. You dump your soaked coat, pull out the voice recorder, and replay it again, ear pressed close. The crash at the end now sounds different, mechanical, not human, like a door slamming in a narrow space. Then a faint echo, 3 rapid beeps. You freeze. You've heard that sound before. The server room security lock. Elijah's recording stopped right as that door closed. You whisper, he wasn't running. He was trapped. Your phone buzzes, jolting you. It's a blocked number. You hesitate before answering. Hello? A pause. Then a distorted male voice. You don't know me, but I knew Elijah. Don't trust Reddington. Don't go to HR. If you want the truth, check the access logs. Basement cameras, 10:11, 8:32 p.m. Click. The line goes dead. You stare at the phone, hand trembling. 10:11, the same date the file was last modified. That night you barely sleep. Every sound feels amplified. The hum of the fridge, the tick of the clock, the city's breath through the window. You think about Elijah's laugh, how he used to promise, if you ever get scared, just follow the data. Truth leaves footprints. At dawn, you open your laptop and remote into the company VPN. You shouldn't have access anymore. But Marcus had once mentioned a backdoor test account used by QA interns. You try it, and you're in. The log files appear, endless lines of timestamps. You filter for 10:11, 8:39 p.m. The footage is grainy, but there it is. A shadow entering the server room. Elijah. He looks nervous, wearing a company badge and carrying a small folder. He's speaking into a phone, no audio, just gestures. Then another figure enters moments later, taller, broader shoulders. The motion capture struggles to adjust, but you see the outline clearly. Charles Reddington. Elijah turns, startled. Reddington raises a hand, not violent but commanding. They argue silently. Elijah gestures toward the servers, pleading. Then Reddington steps closer, calm, measured. A moment later, Elijah backs into the frame's corner. The timestamp jumps. The feed cuts. When it returns, Reddington is alone. You replay it over and over. The cut lasts exactly 7 seconds. You export the footage before the system locks you out. By the time you get to the office, the lobby is bustling with executives prepping for the live broadcast. Reddington's face beams from digital displays. Innovation, integrity, impact. The hypocrisy feels heavy in the air. You spot Marcus by the coffee station, eyes flicking nervously toward you. You pull him aside. "I need your help," you whisper. He hesitates. "If this is about the server, it's about my brother," you cut in. "I have footage." He didn't quit. "Something happened down there." Marcus glances around, lowers his voice. "Maya, there are things you don't understand. That project, Reddington buried it for a reason." "What reason?" He looks torn. "A prototype AI system glitched. The failure killed a beta tester overseas. Elijah wanted to go public. He had proof the data was falsified to hide the malfunction. If that leaked, the company would have collapsed. You feel sick." "So they silenced him?" Marcus doesn't answer. You pull out your phone and play a snippet of Elijah's voice. "People could die if we—" Marcus's eyes widen. "Where did you get that?" "I found it in the archives," he swallows. "Then you're already in danger." "Then help me finish what he started." He hesitates for a long moment, then sighs. "Meet me in the parking lot after the broadcast." "Bring everything." "I'll get the real backup logs. But if we're caught, we won't be." But as you walk away, you know that's a lie. At 2 p.m., the broadcast begins. You stand quietly near the back of the room as Reddington smiles for the cameras. The stage lights cast him in gold, his voice dripping sincerity. At Reddington Industries, we believe in transparency, accountability, and innovation that saves lives. You almost laugh out loud. The hypocrisy is blinding. Then your phone buzzes, a new message from an unknown number. He knows about Marcus. Your heart stops. You look up. Reddington's gaze drifts briefly over the audience, then locks on you. He smiles, but there's something sharper beneath it this time. You slip your phone into your pocket, pretending calm. The air feels thicker, as if the entire building is holding its breath again. After the broadcast, Marcus is nowhere to be found. His desk sits empty, monitor off. His ID badge lies abandoned beside a cup of half-finished coffee. You pick it up slowly. The cup's still warm. You glance at your reflection in the window, and for a moment you swear you see Elijah standing behind you, faintly smiling as if saying, "Keep going." You turn. He's gone. Only the hum of servers in the walls remains. That night, you make a decision. You'll finish what Elijah started, even if it means burning Reddington's empire from the inside out. But you'll need to be careful, because now you know something Reddington doesn't. Elijah wasn't working alone. Someone else had helped him plant the recording in the system. And maybe, just maybe, they're still out there, watching. You arrive at work early again, nerves coiled tight beneath your blazer. The lobby feels different now. Same polished marble floors, same curated smiles. But every step echoes with the knowledge that this place might have swallowed your brother. You pass security, nodding to the same guard who barely looks up from his tablet. The small red light above the camera blinks steadily, almost mockingly. You wonder how many secrets it's recorded and how many it's been told to forget. At your desk, you slide in Marcus's abandoned badge, wrapped in tissue. His ID photo smiles up at you, confident, unaware. You check the date, issued 6 months ago. If he's gone, HR hasn't purged him yet. That might buy you time. You plug the badge into the USB reader. A soft chime. Access granted. His account still works. You whisper, "Thanks, Marcus," and open the system logs. The restricted drive unfolds like a trap door. Rows of encrypted data flood your screen, organized by project name. One folder stands out. Eclipse, R&D Fatality Report. Your stomach tightens. Elijah mentioned something about a patch failure. This must be it. You double-click. The folder opens to reveal multiple subfiles, all labeled Final, for legal, and Do Not Distribute. You select one. Incident, log Elijah, cold move, you press play, .static. Then the familiar hum of the server room. Elijah appears wearing his ID, eyes red, exhausted. "If this reaches anyone outside, I need you to know what happened. The AI drone malfunction wasn't an accident. They knew about the voltage spikes weeks before the crash. I reported it. Holland flagged it. Reddington said it was an anomaly." He pauses, glances off screen. "Then 2 days later, the system wiped my report. I don't know who's covering for who, but I've made copies. I'll hide them in..." The feed cuts again mid-sentence. You exhale shakily. Then your phone buzzes. "Unknown number again." "They're coming." "Leave your desk. Now." You freeze. A faint reflection moves in your monitor. Someone walking toward your cubicle. You close the video and stand up just as 2 men in suits appear around the corner. "Ms. Cole," one says evenly. "The CEO would like a word." You force a calm nod. "Of course." They lead you through the hushed hallway to Reddington's private office, an expanse of glass and arrogance perched above the city. He's standing by the window, back turned, sunlight glinting off his cufflinks. "Maya," he says without looking. "You've had a busy week. You stay silent." He finally turns, eyes calculating. "You're talented, ambitious, but you've crossed a line. Accessing classified files? Using another employee's credentials? Marcus is missing," you say, voice steadier than you feel. "You wouldn't know anything about that, would you?" A pause, then the faintest smirk. Some people aren't built for pressure. If he walked, that's on him. You step closer, the city skyline reflected between you like a barrier. "And Elijah? Did he just walk too?" He exhales through his nose, as though amused by your persistence. "You're smart, Maya. Don't make the mistake of thinking that's enough. You don't understand what this company protects." "What I protect? Profits?" He chuckles softly. "Stability? The world doesn't run on truth. It runs on control." You meet his gaze. "Then maybe it's time someone rewrites the code." Something flickers behind his expression. Irritation, or maybe respect. "I liked your brother," he says quietly. "He believed he was saving people. But he was going to ruin everything. I gave him a choice." You feel your heart stop. "A choice?" He leans closer. "Delete the data or face the fallout." He chose poorly. It takes every ounce of restraint not to lunge across the desk. Instead, you let silence stretch, heavy, electric. He sits, signaling dismissal. "Return your badge. HR will handle the rest." You nod slowly. "Sure thing." As you leave, you pass the security camera above his door, red light blinking. "Always recording." You glance at it deliberately, then whisper under your breath, "Keep watching." You don't go to HR. You go to the underground parking lot. The air smells of oil and secrecy. You slip behind a pillar, plug the flash drive into your laptop, and copy the file. Elijah's recording, the fatality report, the footage of Reddington entering the server room. Then you open your phone and scroll to your contacts. You hesitate for a moment before tapping the number saved as Local Media Tip Line. Channel 5. "Investigations," a woman answers. You take a breath. "I have evidence of corporate negligence and a missing employee." "Possibly 2, she pauses. "What's your name?" "Maya Cole." The line goes silent for a second. Then, "You're Elijah Cole's sister." You freeze. "How do you know that?" "I produced a segment on his disappearance last year," the reporter says. "Police closed the case." "Not enough evidence." "Well," you say softly, glancing at the files transferring on your laptop. I think I just found what they were missing. You hang up before she can ask questions. The progress bar hits 100%. A faint reflection in your screen catches your eye, movement in the shadows of the parking lot. You snap your laptop shut and slip the flash drive into your pocket. When you step out, the car lights behind you flare to life, headlights blinding you. A black sedan idles just beyond the exit ramp. The tinted window rolls down, and for a split second, you see a face, one of the suited men from earlier. Phone pressed to his ear, you turn and walk the other way, pulse racing. By the time you reach the stairwell, your phone buzzes again. A text from the unknown number, you have what you need. Now make them listen. You stop at the landing, breath shallow. You don't know who's helping you, but whoever they are, they're one step ahead. And you suddenly realize maybe Elijah wasn't working alone after all. Morning breaks sharp and metallic, the city glinting under a cold October sun. The kind of morning that feels like a countdown. You dress carefully. White blouse, dark blazer, steady hands. On the outside, you look like any other intern reporting for duty. But inside, your chest hums with quiet defiance. Today isn't about surviving the company. It's about exposing it. You slip the flash drive into your jacket pocket, feeling its weight like a pulse. By the time you reach the office, the air buzzes with anticipation. Reddington is hosting an investor live stream to announce a breakthrough in AI safety. Every department's been told to attend. Perfect timing. Your phone vibrates once. Unknown. Conference room feed will auto-switch in 10 minutes. Be ready. You don't know who's behind the messages anymore. All you know is this. They've been right every time. The boardroom gleams like a surgical theater. Glass walls, polished chrome, 12 executives arranged like jurors in designer suits. Cameras hover silently at the edges. Reddington stands at the head of the table, immaculate, rehearsed. Ladies and gentlemen, he begins, what we unveil today will redefine ethical innovation. Your stomach turns. You take your seat near the back, laptop open, pretending to take notes. The flash drive waits beside the touchpad, disguised in a casing marked Presentation Files. Reddington continues, smooth as glass. Eclipse represents not just progress, but promise. It's proof that technology can be safe, reliable, humane. You almost laugh, a brittle, dangerous sound trapped in your throat. Then you type 3 quiet words into the console. Upload, play audio, you hit enter. At first, it's subtle, a soft hum through the speakers. Then a faint click. Then, unmistakably, Elijah's voice. If you're hearing this, something went wrong. The room freezes. Reddington's smile falters for the first time. This isn't a system malfunction. It's suppression. The reports they buried prove Eclipse caused a fatality overseas. I tried to fix it. They told me to stay quiet. The executives exchange bewildered looks. Cameras swivel. Charles Reddington ordered the deletion of all test data. He said no one would ever find out. A sound cuts through the silence. Reddington's voice, faint but audible, overlapping in the recording. Delete everything. I'll handle it. Chaos erupts. Someone scrambles to kill the feed, but the system locks. The projector flashes red. File protected. Cannot terminate stream. Every investor, every viewer on the live stream is watching. Reddington's calm facade shatters. Turn that off now! A technician stammers. Sir, it's broadcasting, so it's global. He slams a hand on the table. Do it, but it's too late. Elijah's final words echo through the room. If truth costs me my job, so be it. But if it costs lives, that's on you, Charles. Then silence. Every face turns toward you. Reddington's voice lowers, icy. What did you do? You close your laptop slowly. I just hit play. Security bursts in. The investors shout over one another. Demands, threats, disbelief. Cameras capture everything. The panic, the power unraveling. Escort her out. Reddington barks. 2 guards move toward you. But before they reach, another voice cuts in from the speaker system. Don't touch her. It's not Elijah. It's Marcus, gasps ripple across the room. The live feed flickers again. Split screen. On one side, the boardroom. On the other, a new video. Marcus, sitting in a dim apartment, face partially in shadow. If you're seeing this, it means Maya found the file. I couldn't stay silent anymore. The truth about Project Eclipse is bigger than all of us. Check the internal drives, folder Audit Bin 07. Everything's there. Reddington goes pale. Impossible! Charles, Marcus says, his voice steady. You can erase people, but not proof. Then the feed cuts for good. The silence that follows is deafening. Executives murmur. Investors leave the call. A notification pings on Reddington's tablet. Federal inquiry. Urgent contact requested. You don't move. You just watch as the empire begins to collapse from the inside, frame by frame. Reddington finally turns to you, eyes hollow. You think you've won? You tilt your head. No, I think Elijah did. Hours later, as the building empties under the weight of scandal, you stand by the window, the same view Reddington once used to measure his power. Now it just reflects siren lights below. Your phone buzzes again. Unknown. He'd be proud. You don't reply. You just look out, whispering, "We're not done yet." Because you know what's coming next isn't just exposure. It's justice and the truth behind the truth. The next morning, the building feels wrong. The revolving doors turn slower. The receptionist won't make eye contact. Security guards hover near the elevators, whispering into radios. Something invisible has shifted in the air. That electric silence that comes right before a storm hits. You walk in with your head high. People move aside. Some look curious. Some look scared. Most look guilty. News trucks crowd the street outside, lenses glinting like predators. Overnight, the story had spread. Tech CEO accused of covering deadly AI scandal. Whistleblower intern exposes hidden recording. Inside the top floor, chaos rules. Investors flood the conference line, reporters camp by the lobby, and lawyers swarm Reddington's office like hornets. He's there too, pacing behind the glass, tie loosened, eyes bloodshot. For the first time, he looks like a man who's finally realized he's not the hunter anymore. When he spots you walking past, he stops. There's a flash of disbelief, then fury. "You," he spits. "You destroyed everything. You don't stop." "No," you say quietly. "You did." He slams his palm against the glass as you walk away. It sounds like the crack of a gavel. By noon, an emergency board meeting is underway. This time you've been summoned. Not as an intern, but as the key witness. The title almost makes you laugh. Inside, the mood is grim. A few empty seats already mark resignations. A projector flickers with muted headlines and emails scrolling across the screen. A senior board member, gray suit, trembling hands, looks at you. "Miss Thomas," he says, "we've reviewed the files your brother archived. Is it true that the Eclipse prototype caused an overseas fatality?" You nod. "Yes, a worker in the Nairobi test lab. His system failed during a live trial. The data shows the glitch wasn't human error. It was the software," another voice murmurs. And Reddington ordered the deletion of the footage. The room goes still. A single click plays the clip again. Reddington's voice from Elijah's file. "Delete everything." "I'll handle it." The words land differently now, like a sentence. Someone whispers, "We could lose half our investors." Another replies, "We could lose our freedom if this turns criminal." You sit silently as panic blooms around the table. No one laughs now. Outside, the press conference begins without Reddington. He's still upstairs arguing with attorneys, voice raised and cracking. The company's PR director steps to the podium, her tone brittle with rehearsed calm. "Effective immediately," she announces. "Charles Reddington has been placed on indefinite suspension pending investigation. We are cooperating fully with authorities." The crowd roars with questions. "Did you know about the cover-up? Who's the intern who exposed it?" You stay at the back, half hidden behind a pillar, watching it unfold. You feel both powerful and hollow. Justice is happening, but it feels heavier than triumph. By mid-afternoon, the company's stock plummets. Investors withdraw. Emails leak. The Department of Justice announces a formal inquiry into falsified data reports. One by one, the people who laughed at you in that first meeting start clearing their desks. The HR manager who said, "Don't take it personally." The marketing VP who smirked when Reddington mocked you. The silence of complicity is collapsing along with the empire that fed it. But there's one person you can't stop thinking about. Elijah. When you finally step into the server room. Cold. Dim, still humming, you find his old workstation. Dust, a coffee ring, a single sticky note left on the monitor. It reads, "If the truth scares them, it's probably worth saying." You sit there a long time. The machines blink like distant stars. You imagine him sitting here 2 years ago, fighting for the same thing, the right to be heard. You whisper, "We did it, Eli." Later that evening, as federal agents escort Reddington out of the building in handcuffs, the city's skyline flashes with camera lights. He keeps his head down, jaw tight. Someone shouts a question. "Do you have any comments, sir?" He looks up briefly, eyes locking on yours through the crowd. There's something almost human in his expression. Not defiance, not rage. Just disbelief that the world he built out of lies finally caved in. You don't smile. You just stand still, calm and unflinching, as the cameras catch the moment the King of Glass, Towers, walks into the back of a black sedan. People will remember that image. The same way they'll remember Elijah's voice echoing through the speakers. The company's new interim director approaches you after the chaos. She's middle-aged, composed, one of the few who never laughed at you. "Maya," she says softly, "I can't imagine what this cost you." You shrug. "Just everything that mattered." She pauses, then offers a faint smile. "There's going to be a new department. Ethical AI compliance. We could use someone like you." You look out at the skyline where red and blue lights still reflect off the glass. "I'll think about it," you say. "But right now, I just want to hear my brother's voice again." And you do. That night at home, in your small apartment filled with soft light. You replay the file one last time. Not for proof, not for justice. Just to remember the sound of him. If you're hearing this, keep going. You let the words wash over you. The truth cost everything, but it gave him back his voice. And that's something no CEO could ever erase. It's been 3 months since the boardroom exploded into chaos. The company's name still trends daily, but now it sits beside words like accountability and whistleblower reform. The logo that once represented power now represents exposure. You walk through the same revolving doors, the marble floors echoing beneath your steps, but everything feels lighter. The posters with Reddington's smiling face are gone. The glass offices have been decluttered, fewer trophies, more daylight. Even the receptionist smiles now. "Good morning, Miss Thomas," she says. The title still sounds strange. "Conference room A is ready for your presentation." You thank her quietly and step inside, adjusting the strap of your laptop bag. This time, you're the one leading the meeting. Around the table sit journalists, activists, and a few newly appointed executives. The atmosphere is reverent, almost cautious, as if everyone knows they're in the presence of something fragile but necessary. You open your laptop and begin. "Good morning. My name is Maya Thomas. I was once an intern here. Today, I'm here to present the proposal for the Elijah Initiative, a transparency program designed to ensure that no one's voice or life is ever buried for the sake of profit again." The room is silent, hanging on your words. You breathe, steady and sure. "This isn't revenge," you continue softly. "It's repair." Somewhere in the back, a low murmur of agreement ripples through the room. The board members nod, taking notes. Cameras stream the event live to thousands, maybe millions, of viewers watching across the country. You remember that first day, standing in the same room while Reddington mocked your idea. You remember the laughter, the humiliation, the way your hands trembled. And now, the same walls hold your voice without interruption. Halfway through your presentation, you click to a slide showing a waveform. "This," you say, pointing to the audio pattern, "is Elijah's final recording, the one that started it all." You pause, then play a small excerpt. His voice fills the speakers, steady, calm, resolute. If you ever hear this, don't let fear win. Truth doesn't break. It burns through. The sound carries through the boardroom like a prayer. You glance at the audience. Several people wipe their eyes. Outside, journalists capture the moment, labeling it the intern who rebuilt integrity. Later that afternoon, as the news spreads, your phone buzzes with messages, strangers thanking you, other whistleblowers sharing their stories, even a few apologies from former colleagues who stayed silent too long. The world, it seems, is beginning to listen. That evening, you take a quiet walk downtown, where the city lights shimmer across puddles from a light rain. The glass towers that once intimidated you now seem hollow, almost human. At a corner cafe, you spot Marcus sitting by the window. He's older, wearier, but when he sees you, he smiles. That same quiet smile that once carried a secret alliance. He raises a cup of coffee in a silent toast. You smile back. No words needed. Weeks later, the Department of Justice officially closes its investigation. Charles Reddington is sentenced to 5 years in federal prison for obstruction and fraud. When reporters ask if you'll attend his sentencing, you simply shake your head. I don't need to watch him fall, you tell them. I've already watched him look up and see what truth looks like. But later that night, alone, you do watch the footage. Not out of spite, out of closure. You see him standing before the judge, face thinner, suit ill-fitted, eyes hollow. For a moment, you almost feel sorry for him. The judge's gavel falls. The sound echoes, sharp, final, like the closing line of a story that took too long to tell. A few days later, your phone buzzes again, a private number. You hesitate, then answer. Maya? The voice is familiar. Raspy, warm, uncertain. It's Elijah's former colleague from the Nairobi lab, the one whose name was redacted in the files. I just wanted to say thank you, she says. He always talked about you. Said you were the only one who ever believed he could make things better. You close your eyes. He did make things better. A pause. We're naming the new ethics fund after him. You smile through tears. He'd hate that, you whisper. Too much attention. The woman laughs softly. Then we'll make it anonymous. That's how heroes prefer it. That night, you sit by your window, listening to the hum of the city, the same hum that once drowned out your voice. You open the final message Elijah ever recorded, not the one the world heard, but the one hidden at the end, the part no one knew existed. Maya, if this ever reaches you, don't waste your life trying to fix everything I couldn't. Just live, laugh, let them know we mattered. You let it play until silence takes over. Then for the first time in years, you laugh, quietly, freely. The kind of laugh that doesn't ask permission. Outside, the skyline gleams. No longer intimidating, but inviting, like a city reborn from its own shadows. And as you close your laptop, you whisper, "We did it, Eli." The truth echoes, and now it sings. If this story reminded you that truth doesn't need permission, it just needs proof, go ahead and smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you never miss our next story of courage and poetic justice. Have you ever watched someone get underestimated because of how they look, talk, or where they come from, only for them to prove everyone wrong? Share it in the comments below. Your story might become the spark behind our next viral tale of redemption and truth. And for the sharp-eyed viewers, here's a little challenge. Around minute 7:16, right before Elijah's voice takes over the speakers, Maya does something subtle, something that quietly reveals she's been planning this moment all along. Did you catch it? Watch that scene again carefully. Notice where her hand moves just before she clicks upload. That single gesture says everything about her courage and control, long before the truth explodes across the boardroom. Because in this company, like in real life, every click is evidence.